Good evening. Welcome to the Government News Brief for Wednesday, April 19, 2017. In the news this evening, 90 at-risk youth to benefit from entrepreneurial skills training, Ministry of Public Infrastructure hosts workshop to promote road safety culture, and several expressions of interest already received for the Makamaka Hydro plant. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Tiffany Rojas. Here are the details. A pilot program among several ministries will see 90 at-risk youths from Sophia and Angois village being trained in entrepreneurial and life skills. More in this Gabriela Patram report.
The youths in the Entrepreneurship program ages range from 18 to 25. The launch took place at the Environment's Irving Training Center, New Amsterdam, Berbice, Region 6. The aim of the program is to keep youths who have been abused, who are school dropouts and teenage mothers out of possible negative activities. Additionally, the program also guides the youths into entrepreneurial activities. The Ministry of Public Security with Youth Build USA Inc. from the USA, which is the lead expert for the project on entrepreneurship, signed the project. The Public Security Ministry then contracted a Small Business Bureau to implement the program. Minister of Public Security Kamraj Ramchitan says that the program is in keeping with the government's and his ministry mandate to eliminate crime among young people.
We have to come up with smart public policy and execute forthwith without uncertainty and hesitation. Our capacity as a people to sort things out here in Guyana on youth crime and violence, like every other major issue of the day, though deeply conditioned by historical legacies and socio-economic structures, and even a political culture, is also a product of political crafting. We therefore must craft such a culture and a character that will see and make assets out of our young rather than make them liabilities.
Minister of Business Dominique Gaskin encourages participants to be responsible and successful. He urges them to start thinking and planning for the future, even as he expresses happiness that youths have been given another opportunity to empower themselves.
But youth entrepreneurship programs such as this one prepare young people like yourselves not just to develop businesses and to make money, but to be responsible and competent adults, capable of setting your own goals, managing your own time, becoming role models for others. It will teach you about leadership. It will teach you about ownership. It will teach you about relationships. It is meant to put you on the path to success.
Minister within the Ministry of Education, Nicolette Henry, says that youth are very important to the government. Minister Henry points out that the stereotype that is associated with the communities of Sophia and Angois village must end.
Our youth, we have observed, are strong, healthy, and tuned into the internet, Facebook, and other social media platforms for an inordinate amount of their time. Theirs is not a compunction to study or even read, to create new recipes, or even cook, to sew, to mend, and so on.
Chairperson of the Small Business Council, Valerie Grant, points out that owning a business is hard work that requires that individual to wear many caps.
Entrepreneurship has its share of challenges. Being an entrepreneur is not glamorous. Take it from me. I'm an entrepreneur. It is hard work. You do not have a 9-to-5 job. You do not have a 9-to-5 work day, especially in the startup and the growth phase. Your workday may start any time in a 24-hour period. For most small business owners, you're constantly on call and you end up working 50 to 60 hours a week. In fact, you wear several different hats. You're the project manager, you're the marketer, you're the accountant, you're the janitor, you're the customer service manager, you're the human resource manager, and the list goes on.
Two participants, one each from Sophia and one from Angois village, shared their experience on how the program has impacted their lives thus far.
During the course of the program, I found out it was a pilot program, meaning it was the first of its kind. I was honored to be one of the few selected persons to be a part of this venture.
Growing up in Sophia, it's a really difficult thing because we always have challenges. People are not well educated enough and stuff like that. And for me, it's been a great opportunity because I get to learn new things every day. We do maths and all these stuff, that practicals that make us more entwined with one another and also with the program.
The youth are being schooled in the areas of literacy and parenting skills, and there is also a focus on gender. The program is funded by the Interdevelopment Bank and is a collaborative effort among the Ministries of Public Security, Business and Education, and will last for 3.5 months. For the Government News Brief, Gabriella Patram.
Minister in the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson, calls on citizens to adopt a road safety culture as the ministry collaborates with the International Road Federation to host a road safety workshop. Renetta Lafleur tells us more.
At the opening of the workshop today, Minister Ferguson says drivers in many countries, as well as pedestrians, adhere to the road safety culture, which helps to prevent excessive road fatalities.
I am not saying in those countries you don't have delinquent drivers, but they have a higher form of safety culture. In Guyana, we need to improve on our road safety culture. Road users need to think safety first, unquote. One will agree that road safety cannot be achieved in isolation, and therefore, we must all collectively contribute to its enhancement.
The minister notes that the various government ministries and agencies have been addressing road traffic accidents. She adds that her ministry has been doing its part to address the 5 risks in road safety, which are speed, drunk driving, helmets, seatbelts, and child restraint. Director for Latin America and Caribbean International Road Federation, Esteban Salinas, echoed the words of Minister Ferguson, adding that it's better to not wait until a fatality occurs before action is taken or one changes his or her behavior.
There are some things that are going to take a little longer for us to change. As the minister pointed out, there's a safety awareness culture that needs to change and improve. But there are some things, however, that we can change in the near future, almost immediate, really. Some of it has to do with regulation. Some of it has to do with road infrastructure adjustments that need to be made.
Meanwhile, Chairperson of the Guyana National Road Safety Council, Ramona Durgan, highlights that the forthcoming GNRSC action plan will look at ways to address the increasing road crashes.
The road traffic crashes are one of the top causes of death in Guyana. That's also what we recognized when we were preparing the plan. We understand that it is one of the number one cause of death amongst persons between 5 years to 14 years old. And the number two cause of death amongst age 15 to 24. That information we got from the Guyana National Road Safety Strategy 2013-2020.
The GNRSC action plan is scheduled to be launched on May 3rd, 2017 under the theme, The Time for Results. Together we can save lives. Renetta Lafleur for the Government News Brief.
The government has advanced the process of rehabilitating the hydro plant in Makamaka. Neola Damon has the details.
As the deadline on expressions of interest for the Makamaka Hydro plant draws near, several expressions of interest have already been received, Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman says.
The Makamaka Hydro project, expressions of interest have been received from several companies, and the Ministry of Public Infrastructure is reviewing those, and we hope to have that project back up relatively soon.
The Ministry of Public Infrastructure is currently advertising for expression of interest for companies to conduct a detailed geotechnical investigation at the site of the hydro plant. The investigation will help inform the designs for the rehabilitation of the plant to reduce the likelihood of landslides and associated risk of damage to the plant. The IDB and the Global Environment Facility, GEF, is partially funding the project. The resuscitation of the Makamaka Hydro plant will provide residents of Region 9 with a higher quality and reliability of electricity. This is expected to boost the industrial development of these communities in the more ordered and structured way. Neola Damon for Government News Brief.
The Department of Labor within the Ministry of Social Protection, in collaboration with several organizations, observe Occupational Safety and Health Day 2017. More from Delon Sanko.
The Labor Department within the Ministry of Social Protection today held a Safety and Health exhibition at the Giftland Mall. This exhibition is in recognition of Occupational Safety and Health Day 2017, which is observed on April 28. Karen Corbin, Assistant Chief Labor Occupational Safety and Health Officer, says that this is one of the many activities planned for Occupational Safety and Health Month.
We have designated the entire month of April to coordinating activities, and so today we're having this exhibition in partnership with the Giftland Mall, and we have with us here several other agencies who would usually support the ministry when we're having these kinds of activities. We have with us Guy Suko, we have the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, the Industrial Safety Supplies, Ministry of Agriculture, the Chemical and Toxic Control Units, and NAPS. We're expecting to come the Guyana Fire Service. They've indicated they're on their way. But this exhibition is one of the activities to heighten the awareness of safety and health in the workplace. And they're also displaying personal protective equipment, the importance of using them where it is necessary, the different types, the quality.
Corbin notes that since the signing of the MOU in 2016, it has been very encouraging for the ministry, and the agencies have indicated interest in partnering with them.
We're working nicely with them. We're putting plans in place to partner with them in terms of having joint training. There's some instances where we may have joint inspections at workplaces and so forth. We're working with them to train employees to set up joint workplace safety and health committees where they may be non-existent, just in keeping with the Occupational Safety and Health Act.
Corbin further explains that the department is awaiting a few regulations that are currently being finalized at the Ministry of Legal Affairs.
We also have several pieces of regulations. They're at the AG chambers waiting. They're putting the final touches to those regulations just so that we can have them passed in Parliament. We have the manufacturing regulations, we have the noise regulations, the Joint Safety and Health Committee regulations. Those are just a couple that we have currently with the AG chambers.
The regulations are expected to be completed by July. The Assistant Chief Labor Occupational Safety and Health Officer encourages all the companies to come on board, since having a safe and healthy workforce not only reflects well on the company, but also increases production. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
Component 3 of the recently launched Sustainable Agricultural Development Program will see the construction of 2 meat processing facilities. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
The facilities are expected to be constructed under the US $15 million Inter-American Development Bank and Ministry of Agriculture's Sustainable Agriculture Development Program. Guyana currently has 10 registered abattoirs. However, due to outdated standards managing these facilities, there is the need to ensure that livestock farmers have adequate access to more state-of-the-art facilities.
By ensuring compliance with SPS standards, the overall quality of meat processed in the abattoirs will be enhanced. The longer-term position of our food safety systems can then be recognized by international trading partners and open the opportunity for export of meat products. This is in line with our policies outlined in the Food Safety and Animal Welfare bills presented in Parliament and debated earlier this year.
Overall, the opportunities for exporting meat out of Guyana is very limited due to the fact that these facilities aren't up to standards. Some of the current standards, as you can see highlighted here, for example, the Public Health Ordinance dated back since 1915, and it's very outdated. The standards for the abattoir is mirrored off the Indian standards, which is dating back still to 1978. And a comprehensive cost is not available for the standards to be upgraded to date.
The construction of these 2 pilot meat processing facilities will be done in Regions 5 and 9. The component of the SADP under which this program will be facilitated will take up a cost of US $2.8 million. The SADP will increase the country's capacity to comply with sanitary and phytosanitary standards
that will open up markets for livestock production.
The final component of the Sustainable Agricultural Development Program increases sanitary and phytosanitary standards and access to meat processing facilities. This will be achieved by implementing improvements in infrastructure, ensuring adequate regulations are in place, as well as maximizing the number of trained inspectors and supporting policies.
With increased access to meat processing facilities, there will be higher productivity, which will contribute to reduced pressure on fragile ecosystems while increasing income for small and medium-scale farmers. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Do join us tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I'm Tiffany Rogers. Have a great evening.